Hi guys, welcome back to We Should Talk, a pop culture interview series from In the Know. I'm your host, Gibson Johns, and this week on the podcast we have Margaret Josephs and Dolores Catania from The Real Housewives of New Jersey. Season 12 of The Real Housewives of New Jersey premieres on Tuesday, February 1st at 8 p.m. on Bravo. And I interview a lot of housewives, but it's not every day that you get a two-on-one moment, especially in these Zoom days. So this is a really fun opportunity to talk to Margaret and Dolores together about season 12, about their friendship. We really kind of touched on everything that I think people are wondering about. It's Teresa and Margaret, it's Teresa and Louis, it's Dolores and Jackie, it's the Jennifer Aiden of it all. There's a lot in that trailer for this season, and it seems like it's going to be a wild season. And it was just really fun to talk to them, and they have such an amazing friendship and dynamic. And I think they see eye to eye on so many things. And there's even a point in this interview where I just kind of sit back and let them gush about one another for a couple minutes, which was really fun to hear, honestly. But yeah, they had some great answers in here, and they are just such great, tough women. And I think they're both amazing on the show. And so it was, again, fun to talk to them both together. Keep listening for my interview with Dolores Catania and Margaret Josephs from The Real Housewives of New Jersey. Tune in to the season 12 premiere of The Real Housewives of New Jersey on Tuesday, February 1st at 8 p.m. on Bravo. And please rate, review, and subscribe to We Should Talk on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. All right, so we are here with Margaret Josephs and Dolores Catania from The Real Housewives of New Jersey. Season 12 is finally upon us. I feel like we've had to wait extra long this time. How are you guys? This is so fun.
Oh my God. Hi, Gibson. This is so fun. I'm great. And I know Dolores is great too. How are you, Dolores?
I miss you, So good. Everything's good. We're great. I love your little heart shirt.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, yes, I have all the love in the world for my Jersey girls. So,
good.
So I mean, I feel like we had to wait like slightly extra long this time between seasons. At least it feels that way. Are you guys itching to get back out there and just kind of have it all air?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm ready. I know it feels so long, but I think this is the exact same time last year. I think we're even earlier than last year, but it does feel like forever.
COVID time, everything seems longer with COVID time.
Yeah, when we're staying, and I think everyone's.
It just feels that way. It just feels that way. So for each of you, I mean, the trailer alone is like, it's almost like a 3-minute long trailer. It is an action-packed trailer. What are each of you sort of most nervous to get into this season for each of you?
Go ahead, Marge.
I don't know if I'm nervous as much as like to relive all the insanity of, obviously I'm not getting along with Teresa. See her, sweep her hand across the table and knock over an entire meal and drinks upon me. To relive all of that's upsetting, just because I really do care for Teresa and I do, I've always loved her. Even though we are obviously not in a good place together right now, but and of course that, and obviously things happen with Jennifer, just watching it all back. It's not nervous. It's just, it's uncomfortable at certain moments.
For sure. Dolores, what about you?
So the same thing with me, much different than other seasons for me. There's a lot of my personal story and it's pretty emotional. And I do go through a lot this season. So I'm not used to sharing, like I'm usually very tough on the exterior and you don't see me cry. And I cried over my dog probably 5 seasons ago.
Right.
It was last year, but once before. It was always over a dog. And now you just see other things in my life that I'm human and I do break down. I have my moments. So that's going to be hard for me because, I have a tough reputation to keep. So
let us in, but not too far in, because we have to the Dolores we know and love. But I do want to ask right away, because it's mentioned in the trailer, and I'm curious, do you have a health update on your mom? Because it seems like something happens this season. And I just want to make sure she's okay.
She is.
Good.
Battle, but it's everything that I've talked about in the past has caught up to her. It was almost like I've been warning her, and you'll see the repercussion of her not listening to me and being healthy. So yeah.
Got it. Well, I'm glad to hear that. And I'm glad that I'm interested to see sort of this kind of other side to you, Dolores, but I think I'm glad to hear that ultimately it all works out and ends up well. I feel like one unexpected moment from this trailer is Jackie sort of being there one-on-one for Jennifer. Like it seems like Jennifer goes
unexpected for me too.
My question was going to be, were you guys as shocked to see that as I was? Because that seems to me like, oh, there was an impasse there, but I guess we got past it there.
And you're always on the money. I always love your take on things. I love it.
Yeah, it was surprising, but I think, Jackie felt sorry for her. Jennifer was really hurting.
Well, she wanted to be her friend, right, Marge?
She wanted
to befriend her.
She wanted to befriend her. She did. She wanted to be friends. She felt sorry. She felt badly for her.
For this conversation, Gibson.
So do we? The impression I'm getting sort of from the start, I've watched the premiere, is that Jennifer, there's an isolation of Jennifer happening, whether that's self-imposed or just how she feels or what happens. She feels kind of like out of the group. Is that an accurate sort of feeling that is out there?
I think she feels isolated. I mean, actions have repercussions, and she feels isolated. No one isolated her. She isolated herself. And I think she felt bad about it. Everybody's welcome, but everybody has to apologize. Everybody has to own their own behavior, right? If you hurt somebody, you make up with them. And don't you agree, Dolores?
Yeah, no, like, listen, if I do something or I say something that causes there's a reaction to it, I have to say, listen, I earned that. I own it. And then it's done. Once you own something, you move on from it and it's over.
Totally.
Even with yourself. Yeah. Maybe the other people it's not over with. But with yourself, when you say, yeah, I accept this. I did it. Sorry.
And really be sorry. I think that's what it is, to truly be sorry. You have to truly be sorry. And you have to realize there's a part in everything. Listen, it takes two in every argument or whatever it is. But if you're truly sorry about something, everybody could come back together.
Mm-hmm. And I think also, judging from the premiere, Margaret, you let sort of a big Aiden family secret kind of slip out at Teresa's pool party. And it seems like there's sort of a ripple effect there for Jennifer's marriage and relationship. And there's some struggles that are teased sort of in the trailer. What can you guys tell me about the direction that goes? Because it seems like, again, Jackie seems to be there for her in those moments, but I don't know, that's a tough thing to put out there.
I think I've known for a long time. I think I've mentioned it before. I've never really come out with it. I think I'm not one to deal well with hypocrisy. And I think that's really what it was. I think we left off terms very poorly last season, and the way she had felt about me and the way she's chastised me over the years for my behavior and has put Bill on such a pedestal, who I adore, by the way, and I am not judging him whatsoever, because life is very complicated. And I just want to make that very clear. It was more her reaction towards me and the chastising of me. And I think that's what it was. I was just, and I couldn't take the hypocrisy any longer. So I think it could have totally went a different way if she had come back and was very apologetic.
Right. But like we saw in the reunion last year, she was kind of throwing darts your way the whole time. And so
the whole way.
At some point, they're going to come flying back. Right.
And I think it was just like
when we stopped, like when it was on a break, it was still darts were flying.
Right. Yeah. Totally. On Instagram and stuff like that.
Fire.
Yeah. It didn't end after that. And I was like, all right. I was just like, you know what? I don't even know where this is coming from, because you have the same crap in your life. So I don't even know what you're talking about. That's kind of the way I felt at that point.
Yeah. Listen, Margaret is not someone who is going to let that go.
Yeah. And I think that makes sense. It's like you have to defend yourself at some point. You know what I mean?
You can't get it from both sides. You can't, it was the hypocrisy of it all. It wasn't like, I'm sorry. And you could say you want your husband's backyard is your backyard. You share a backyard. Right.
Dolores, I think, another unexpected moment for me is you and Jackie kind of having, it seems like you go into it to a point where like you almost have to be pulled apart, which I don't think we've seen that from you two before. Like what leads up to that?
So on the heels of the conversation we just had, without giving anything up, I just said, remember this conversation, Gibson.
Okay.
And that's where
for that reason
that fight comes from.
Okay. All right. I mean,
that was hypocritical for me. And that was
the
anger that came out of where I was coming from. And totally. I was mad. Oh, Gibson.
Oh, she was mad.
I can tell. I can tell there was fire in those eyes.
The whole funny thing is, of all times for me to wear the flattest sneakers, I came up to everybody's chest line that day. I had on a pair of Louis Vuitton sneakers. I just got them high tops, and it was like a bar. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna wear my sneakers today. And I'm like looking up, but I never wear flats.
Hey, that was your intuition was telling you something. But I think honestly, what all these kind of things tell me is like it's a reminder of just, I mean, again, we have the same cast this year that we've had for the past, this is 4 seasons in a row that we have the same exact cast, and like the kind of allegiances and the friendships they're so fluid, and that they're so unexpected, the different kind of fractures that happen each year. And I think one, it speaks to just the dynamic nature of this whole group together, but I also think it speaks to like your guys' ability to, you have a moment where you're maybe going head to head, but then you get over it, or you apologize to one another and you work it out. Do you guys feel as though this group does that particularly well? Because that's what I think, that's my takeaway from kind of this track record of the cast.
I actually do. And I'm going to say it holds true to our character as the people that we are. Like, no matter what happens, when I'm sitting on that couch at the end of the season, whoever's done to whoever and whatever's been said about me or whoever, whatever, I always say that I wouldn't want to be sitting next to any other women in this life or in this franchise or in another place, because we all share the same heart. We really do. At the end of the day.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think we're an amazing group of women, though we all, are very opinionated. If there was ever a crisis, I know I can call any one of them. I mean, obviously I'm close with some of them. Dolores, we speak on the phone every single day, 5 times a day sometimes, but I'm very blessed to be with these women. We're, we have great bonds. I always say when we're 75 years old, we'll all be looking back at what an amazing experience and time this was for all of us.
I'm sure. And there's a very small group of women who can really understand it. So I think that it's important for you guys to be able to see eye to eye at some moments, at some capacity. And I think that's nice.
Make no mistake, we may not all like each other.
Yes.
Right. That is a truth.
That is.
We not all, say she's my favorite person and I want to talk to her, but there is a part of us that all like each other the same.
Right.
And when I noticed that, when I saw the heart of the Real Housewives of New Jersey was when I held the event for the shelter, and I had a beauty day for them. And
right.
Each one of my friends held a baby, changed a diaper, cried, just like they were so moved. And when I saw that kind of compassion, I looked at things a little bit differently, even deeper. I always knew it was there, but then I saw it like raw,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's as real as it gets, really. And if you can, if you can be there.
That was it for me. And I'll never forget that, no matter what happens this season or next season, or who says what, or who takes me down, if anybody ever could. I'm just saying.
That's right.
I'm not counting on it.
Yeah. Just for that one.
I'll never forget what I saw that day. And I'll always keep that in mind. That's
amazing.
And maybe I won't be so harsh.
It's a good reminder to give yourself. So a big aspect of this season, it's obvious, is Margaret and Teresa. I mean, we've seen you guys have moments before, but you've always come back from that. And this feels not to say you can't come back from this, but this just feels a little different and a little bit more intensified and maybe prolonged. This moment for you guys, Margaret.
For sure.
Does it feel different to you this time, or yeah? What can you kind of tell me about how this is going to go, and what we're going to see this season in that way?
There's a man involved, right?
Yeah.
This isn't girl drama. This is man drama, and I think I want Teresa to be very happy. Regardless of what she thinks, I truly wanted her to be happy. But when there's a red flag, when there's something out there, I like to address things head on. I think most people should, being in the public eye, address things head on, right, and not pretend it's not happening. Some people don't feel that way, Teresa being one of them. And And I think she thinks I come from a different place. Maybe she's used to people coming from a different place. I'm not that. And at the end of the day, we don't see eye to eye on certain things. And she was very, very upset. And then I got very upset with her because it just unraveled. I don't hold a grudge. I can be, very, very, forgiving and make up with someone. I hope that she can see her way past this, and we'll just see what happens. I mean, I think it's going to be a very long season.
Mm-hmm. And she accused you of trying to pop her love bubble. Do you think that she is in a love bubble and sort of?
No, I think it's a love bomb.
Right. But in almost a way where she's trying to sort of shield herself from any of those negative headlines that have come up about Louis or the video that is mentioned. Do you think there's, and it makes sense where you're in sort of like a honeymoon phase with some blinders on, but okay. Do you think that that's sort of the situation with Teresa?
That she's just, I understand that, but I think at a certain age, that's acceptable when you're 25 years old. That's not acceptable when you're hitting 50.
Mm. So Dolores,
that's my opinion.
I would say, for sure. And you're entitled to it.
Dolores, I tell her the way I'm very honest with everything I feel about our relationship. I think that's the way you have to be. I think at a certain age, you just have to be very real with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
With your friends.
I understand that, but I also know I'm looking from where she's come from, Teresa, she is in love with him.
Oh yeah, for sure. She's in love with him, for sure.
I can understand wanting to say, all right, well, that doesn't bother me. Maybe it would have never bothered her, Gibson.
Right.
Maybe what would bother Margaret wouldn't bother, her or whatever. So I understand it, a relationship is between two people. You'll never really know the true dynamics of what's going on. We as outsiders can look at it and say, oh, it looks good or it looks bad. But behind closed doors, who really knows,
Right.
But I do think she's very, very happy with him. I don't think she gives two craps about anything in the past. And I mean, that's good for her. If that works for her, that works for her. And I'm happy for them.
Yeah. And I think it's honestly, it just shows two different approaches to, I think
it's two totally different approaches.
Exactly. Yeah. And they're going to come to a head. But Dolores, I'm curious for you because I mean, Margaret, you and Margaret have gotten closer and closer every year, it seems. I mean, I've been interviewing you guys for years now, and it seems like every year you get closer. Does this put you in a precarious position because you are so close to both of them, or no?
No, because I wouldn't tolerate that. And people who are my friends aren't like that. Like if Margaret was friends with somebody that I was not getting along with,
right?
I'd be like, oh, did you, if it comes up, I'm like, oh, Margaret, she's I can't swear up here. So I would be like, and she would be like, I know. But
we're not like that.
We're totally fine. Teresa can't, she's never been one to say who anybody could be friends. Like, I just wouldn't take it. And I wouldn't tell her who to be friends with. When I didn't get along with Danielle, she was friends with her. I was like, good luck. Have fun with that. And whatever.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a part of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that's true of sort of, Margaret and Dolores, both your friendship together. It's sort of like, I think of where you guys, Margaret, when you came onto the show, where you guys were, there have been sort of people along the way. I think of Siggy and I think of Danielle who could have gotten in the way of you guys, but you didn't let them get in the way.
No. Well, Dolores and I are very both mature women, and we have a very similar perspective on life. And I think that's why we get along so well. Mm-hmm. And, we could see past a lot of nonsense, and we're not going to let anybody interfere. We have a lot of similar views on many, many things.
I love it. I love it. What do you love both about one another? Like, what's your favorite thing about one another? Because now that I have you both, I want you guys
I can't even say just one thing. I mean, besides the fact that Dolores is so generous. She's generous, compassionate, charitable, but she doesn't, and she doesn't put it out there. People don't even know. She doesn't need to be recognized. That's the whole thing. Dolores doesn't need the praise and doesn't need to be recognized for everything that she does. And that's what's so beautiful about her. As beautiful as she is on the outside, her insides are just as magnificent. And she's such a good mother. And she's just, everything about her is so great. I love her. I know I could call her any time of the day and she'll listen. And she's just an all around just wonderful person. But that's what's so amazing. I think people don't realize how much she actually does for everyone else, because she doesn't need the accolades. And that's what's so wonderful about her.
So I could say that everything the same about her, but as a friend, there's a lot, I wouldn't ask certain people for things. I would just do it myself. I know that I could call Margaret, and even probably until yesterday or even recently, she never says no to any of her friends. She has friends for over 30 years. She's got such a good heart. She takes people, and I love sitting back and watching her life. I like the dynamics of her life, how she multitasks. She's business. She's a pit bull, but she's got a heart of gold. And it's not like, usually doesn't come hand in hand. So I just enjoy her eccentric taste and how funny she is and witty. And she's witty. And we have like an old Hollywood kind of like she could say something and I get it. And we can't bounce a lot of that stuff off of other people.
Only you two get it.
Yes. Yeah, we get it. And we could talk about like who else would know Carol Burnett or something like that.
Exactly.
We could talk about anything and it just flows. And here, I called Joe the other night. They were laying in bed. It was cold in my house. He came. My pipes were going to freeze. He fixed it,
Wow.
And she was on her way in the car to come over. Like, it's unbelievable to me. And she never says no. She never says no.
We're just so close. We have that relationship. I call Gabby, her daughter. I'm like, what should I give Bella? She's itching. Give her half a Claritin. It's like, we have an amazing bond. Like it doesn't matter what time of night it is. We'll call each other. We're very blessed that way.
Yeah. And listening to both of you speak about one another, you're right in that, like, a lot of those qualities could be applied to either of you. You know what I mean? And I think that really does speak to your connection. I think I think it's one of my favorite friendships sort of on Housewives in general. It's fun. I think it's really fun.
Friends. We weren't really friends. It was like a kind of time during the Siggy thing. And I always say this. And she called me to give me the heads up that someone was being disloyal to me. That had nothing to do with the show, but she had heard through the grapevine that somebody was something to me. And I never forgot it. And I was like, wow, she just went out of her way to call me and tell me something about someone. She goes, listen, we're not friends, but you should know this because this is wrong. Margaret will step up when somebody's doing the wrong thing. And I will tell you this, I had friends that are closer to me that knew it, that didn't tell me. So that, for me, till the day I died.
It wasn't for the cameras. It was just for you. Right. Exactly.
Old school. I'm old school. I'll be like 90 years old and still tell that story. That's my biggest thing.
No,
that's amazing.
But that is true. And I feel like Dolores is the exact same way. And it is true. It's like, even if I love Dolores and I always did like her, regardless of Siggy, I knew that we could be very close and it obviously worked out. But even with anybody else, if I see an injustice and I can't even stand the person, I will stand up for it. You know what I mean? And it doesn't have to, and I don't think everybody's that way. And Dolores is the exact same way. When she says it's, she stands up for what's right. And I think we both do.
Well, this is a love fest right now, and I love it.
I love fest. We love each other.
It doesn't seem like it. I mean, it seems like you guys have a lot of fun, but in Nashville seems like it's going to be like a trip of all trips almost. Where does it rank where does it rank relative to past trips for you guys?
I'd say it's number one.
Yeah.
In terms of the drama and the fun, everything, or?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
What about that? What about it down there really got you guys? I mean, it seems like the energy that I'm getting from that footage is different.
Yeah, it's different. All right.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like Nash Vegas. Nashville's like Nash Vegas. It's glamorous. It's country. Everybody was together. It was the drama. There was just so much going on. We had Tracy and Tiki there. It was just everything, right, Dolores?
Yeah. So Frank and I have a moment there too, which is surprising and not something you're used to. It's like a little bit of a change in dynamics.
Okay.
It was a shocker, but it's like a cathartic moment.
Yeah.
So you'll see.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, Dolores, I feel like, I'm just going to ask one question about this because it's always a hot topic for you. I think last we heard you were dating somebody new. And so I would just love for you to just update quickly on your love life, whatever you're comfortable sharing, because I know it seems pretty new.
So I'm going to leave it as I'm very happy.
Good. I think that's all, honestly, at the end of the day, that's what everyone wants for you. Because I know you got a lot of questions about it, but it's always from love. You know what I mean? I think that's.
No, I understand. I know, and I understand. And so, yeah, good. I can only just say I'm very happy.
That's all I need to hear. So, So I'm curious, did either of you guys watch Girls Trip, the Ultimate Girls Trip show that was on Peacock?
I didn't. I don't have Peacock.
Okay. Well, I'm just curious because on that show, I would love to see both of you on that show eventually on a subsequent season, because I think that it's an opportunity for you guys to show a different side to yourself, that like, it's not necessarily the role that you're playing on your respective franchise. And I think with Teresa, we saw that a lot. Like, I think we saw her relating to other women from other franchises in a different way. And one thing that she said on the show that I'm just wondering what your kind of response to it is that like, that was the first time that she has ever enjoyed filming a show, is what she said. And that she actually had fun. And I'm curious what you guys think as her longtime co-stars and cast members and friends of like her kind of having that different experience on that show.
She's always said that. Always. She's always said that she didn't enjoy it. That's for her.
She
I didn't watch it, so Margaret could.
You know what? Yeah. I think that show was a lot more about fun.
Right.
She's not bonded with those women the way she is with us. The relationships aren't as personal. Mm-hmm. So of course it was surface bullshit. So of course it was
that's easy to do. I'll fight with somebody.
It's easy to do.
Long. That's fun.
It's easy. It's more surface to the fact is just like you're just getting to know everybody. It's not going to be. It's 8 days away. It's not these lifelong relationships where it really hurts and it's really fun. So of course it's painful. It's painful for her to film this show because it's her family, it's her lifelong friends, it's relationships that really mean something.
It's not going to be as easy breezy.
It's not going to be as easy breezy. Hey, listen, I love it, and it's painful, and it's also painful for me. It's heaven and hell for everybody.
Mm-hmm. True. But ultimately, I'm assuming you guys enjoy it, and that's what keeps you going. Right?
Well, listen, it's an amazing platform, right?
Yeah.
I would not trade it for anything.
No, we're blessed.
Of days, Gibson. I thank God for this job every day. I don't take it for granted, and it is what it is. But
it is, and it brings amazing things, and I've met amazing people along the way, and lifelong friends, and I think we're very, very lucky.
Yeah, definitely. So rounding it out, I mean, we have this full 12th season ahead of us. But I feel like I'm curious because again, I have both of you, and this is rare to have two of you together in an interview setting like this, especially over Zoom. I feel like there are certain things that have followed Housewives of New Jersey, or like around either like fan opinions on it or misconceptions about the group or what have you. What's like for each of you something that you get frustrated by that you always hear from fans, either about you or the show or the group or somebody else in your group that you don't agree with? Or is there something out there that you...
I know what it is about me.
Yeah,
what is it?
About my kids have nothing to do with me. I'm not a good mother. I choose not to put my kids on there. My son is here all the time. Dolores knows it, right? Yeah. Because I keep my children private. People don't see me as a mother. So they always think that I can't comment on motherhood. I can't about kids. And my kids are my entire life. My son's, my biological son is the youngest one. So he's here all the time. It's my entire life. So I'm very much a mother, and people don't see that. And that drives me absolutely crazy. Because they're like, your kids have nothing to do this, that. I was like, you have no idea. And that's what, but that I choose to keep private.
Totally. But that's something that keeps popping up. You're just like, and you've said the same thing to me before, Margaret. It's like people can't take, for some reason, they don't want to hear that, which is just silly.
Yes. Yeah. It pops up endlessly.
Yeah. How would you describe this season compared to past seasons? Again, it seems like it's going to be a doozy, but I don't want to put words in your mouth.
No, I mean, it's amazing. It's like a lot of visceral emotion, and it blows up. I mean, it's not just like one fight that everybody takes. We all have our moments, and the difference in opinions, which I'm going to see is that the whole Bravo family, the whole franchise, like people that like watch it in groups and things like that, they're going to pick sides. They're going to agree with each and every one of us because we have such a different of opinion on everything.
I think this season is very, I think it's very emotional, very deep. And I think it's I think people are going to really relate to it. I think it's going to affect, I think it's going to have people look at their own relationships and what they would do, and really see things in a different light. I think it's, explosive. I think it's emotional. I think everybody runs the gamut of emotion, and I think that's really what it's such a roller coaster ride. It really is.
Well, I'm ready to get on that ride, you guys. So
it's the cyclone. It's the cyclone. We're in Brooklyn and it's the cyclone, right?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
I love it. Well, Dolores and Margaret, thank you so much for taking the time to talk. This was so much fun. I love both of you. And I'm excited for everyone to get to see this premiere because it's a great start to the season.
Thank you. Love you, Gibbs. I love seeing you. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Thanks for tuning in to We Should Talk. I hope you enjoyed the interview. You can find out more about In the Know at intheknow.com. You can follow me, Gibson Johns, at Gibsonoma on Twitter and Instagram. And you can listen to all of our interviews, past and future, by searching We Should Talk wherever you get your podcasts. Hope to see you next time.